Welcome back to Warriors Nation News, the home for everything Dub Nation needs to know, where every rumor, every move, and every silent signal from the front office gets broken down for the real fans. While free agency has been full of speculation, missed opportunities, and cautious patience, there's one name that just won't go away: Nikola Vucevic. Now, you might be thinking, didn't we already miss that window? Yes and no. Months ago, back at the February trade deadline, the Golden State Warriors passed on an opportunity to trade for Vucevic. Chicago was open to talks, the expiring contracts of Kevon Looney and Gary Payton II were available, and yet nothing happened. The trade never materialized. But now, the narrative may not be over just yet. With Vucevic's $21.5 million deal set to expire, and with the Bulls potentially entering full rebuild mode, there's reason to believe that this story isn't finished, and that the Warriors could still make a move that makes all the sense in the world. Let's break this down. Back in February, the Warriors were still fighting for playoff positioning. They were hesitant to commit to a major midseason deal, especially one that would send out core culture guys like Looney or GP2. In hindsight, that caution might have cost them a chance to add a versatile, floor-spacing big man who could have helped in the playoffs. Nikola Vucevic finished last season with rock-solid production: 18.5 points per game, 10.1 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 53% from the field, 40.2% from three. That's not just decent, that's elite for a modern NBA big. He brings spacing, rebounding, and passing vision, a dream combination for a motion-based system like Steve Kerr's. And most importantly, he stays healthy and consistently available. But the Warriors passed on the opportunity. Now, as ESPN's Zach Lowe pointed out, that interest might resurface under one condition: Vucevic must become a free agent. I don't think Vooch to Golden State is a thing, on this current contract anyway. That's the key. Golden State, already navigating luxury tax constraints, wasn't going to absorb his $21.5 million salary this past season or during the early free agency window. But if Chicago can't find a trade partner, and if they decide to buy Vucevic out, things could get very interesting very quickly. A buyout would allow the Warriors to pursue Vucevic on a veteran-friendly deal. And if they've already shown interest in signing Al Horford, who is 39 years old and lacks the mobility of his prime, why wouldn't they make a serious move for a player like Vucevic, who's younger and currently more productive? It also speaks volumes that the Warriors didn't go after Bradley Beal, despite being linked to him as a potential buyout candidate. That tells us something. Golden State isn't chasing flashy guards or wings, they're targeting fit. And what they need more than anything is a reliable stretch five. Now, some fans will argue that Vucevic isn't the ideal defender. That's fair. He's not a shot-blocking anchor like Gobert or Claxton, but he's smart. He holds his ground in the paint, and, unlike Al Horford, he can run the floor, post up, and give you 30 minutes per night without slowing the pace. And here's the biggest point. You don't need Nikola Vucevic to be your defensive star. That's what Draymond Green is for. What you need is a complement to Draymond. A guy who can rebound, space the floor, and punish drop coverage on the pick and pop. Vucevic checks all those boxes. So, we'll ask the question to Dub Nation: should the Warriors pursue Nikola Vucevic if he becomes a free agent? Let us know in the comments. Was passing on Vucevic in February a mistake? Would you prefer him over Al Horford? Could he be the missing piece to get Steph one more ring? Right now, Chicago is in limbo, and so is Vucevic's role on that roster. The moment they commit to a rebuild, his availability changes the entire dynamic. And if the Warriors are smart, they'll be waiting at the front of the line. Stay locked in, because in Chapter 2, we'll dive into why Golden State's patience in free agency might actually pay off, and how the front office may be playing chess while the rest of the league plays checkers. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and sound off in the comments. This offseason might feel quiet, but don't be fooled. The next big move could just be around the corner. This is Warriors Nation News, and we're just getting started.
Welcome back to Warriors Nation News, where we don't just report the headlines, we read between the lines. In Chapter 1, we explored why Nikola Vucevic might still end up in a Warriors jersey despite the lack of movement at the trade deadline. Now, we shift our focus to a bigger question. Why are the Golden State Warriors so quiet this offseason? While other teams have been scrambling, wheeling, dealing, and throwing out long-term contracts, the Warriors have taken a step back. No splashy trades, no massive signings, just whispers about Al Horford, distant rumors about Bradley Beal, and speculative chatter around Jonathan Kuminga. So, is this caution, confusion, or is it something more strategic? Let's dive into the Warriors' offseason approach and why this front office might be playing the long game. It's easy to criticize what you don't understand. Warriors fans, especially those who lived through the dynasty, are used to bold, aggressive moves. From acquiring Kevin Durant in 2016 to the D'Angelo Russell-Andrew Wiggins trade, Golden State has never been afraid of making waves. But this summer feels different. After a disappointing playoff run that ended in the Western semifinals, it would have been natural for panic to set in. But instead of swinging for a big-name trade or overpaying in free agency, General Manager Mike Dunleavy Jr. and Executive Chairman Joe Lacob have chosen patience. Let's look at what we know. They passed on pursuing Bradley Beal, even as he approached a potential buyout. They're linked to Al Horford, but only if it makes sense financially. They let Kevon Looney walk, opening a hole at center. And they've remained conservative in discussions around Jonathan Kuminga, signaling they're not desperate to move him. So what does that tell us? It tells us the Warriors are watching the market, not reacting to it. That they believe the best deals don't come in July, but in January and February when desperate teams start making mistakes. And honestly, that's not a bad strategy. Here's why. Cap flexibility. The new collective bargaining agreement has changed everything. With harsh penalties for tax-paying teams, the Warriors are avoiding the kind of bloated contracts that could cripple their flexibility mid-season. Every dollar matters now. Waiting could allow them to make smarter, cleaner deals at the deadline. Veteran buyouts are coming. Just like Nikola Vucevic, there will be other names bought out in the coming months. Every year, veterans on non-contending teams agree to buyouts once it's clear their current roster isn't playoff bound. The Warriors want to be ready when that happens. The trade market is still developing. We've already seen major pieces move, like Luka Doncic to the Lakers, but others are still in limbo. Teams like Brooklyn, Portland, and even Sacramento could become sellers before the February deadline. That's when the Warriors can package a deal using contracts and young assets like Moses Moody or Brandon Podziemski without overpaying now. Belief in the core. This is something many fans forget. Golden State still has Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Chris Paul, and Andrew Wiggins, all seasoned veterans. They're not building from scratch. They're retooling around a core that knows how to win when it matters. So instead of rushing, the front office seems to be asking, what do we really need? What are we willing to give up? And when is the right time to strike? Patience isn't passive. It's calculated. The Warriors have proven time and again that they value culture, chemistry, and fit above hype. And that's what makes this offseason strategy make more sense the deeper you look. Let's open it up to you, Dub Nation. Do you support the Warriors' quiet approach this offseason, or should they have been more aggressive from the start? Let us know in the comments. Would you rather sign now or wait and see who becomes available later? Is patience smart or just another word for stalling? What's your trust level in Mike Dunleavy Jr. as the new architect of this team? The noise around the league has been loud, but Golden State's silence might just be the setup for a mid-season splash no one sees coming. Stick with us, because in Chapter 3, we'll break down the current roster and ask the ultimate question. Are the Warriors ready to contend as currently constructed, or is a big move still a necessity? Subscribe, hit that bell, and join the conversation below. You make Warriors Nation News what it is. Now let's finish this trilogy strong.
Welcome back to Warriors Nation News, where we finish what we start. And today, we complete the trilogy. We've talked about the quiet approach to free agency, we've dissected the rumors around Nikola Vucevic, Al Horford, and even Bradley Beal. But now it's time for the most important question of all. Can this current Golden State Warriors roster contend for an NBA title in 2025-26? Or has the window officially closed. We're diving deep into the core, the youth, the holes, the upside, and the urgency, because there's no more room for Magies, not with Stephen Curry entering year 17. Let's start with the basics. Here's what we know about the projected roster as of today. Stephen Curry, PG, 36, still elite, still lethal, still the leader. Chris Paul, PG/bench, 40. Aging but effective in small spurts, his leadership and IQ are invaluable. Draymond Green, power forward/center, defensive anchor, emotional core, needs a reliable big next to him to shine. Andrew Wiggins, small forward, 30. Inconsistent last season, but capable of elite two-way play when engaged. Jonathan Kuminga, forward, 22, RFA. Athletic, explosive, but in limbo contractual mente. Moses Moody, shooting guard/small forward, 22. Trusted by the coaching staff, potential 3-and-D staple. Brandon Podziemski, guard, 21, smart, gritty, and reliable off the bench. Trace Jackson-Davis, power forward/center, 24, young big with upside, but unproven in high-leverage playoff minutes. Gary Payton II, guard, 32, injury-prone, but still one of the best point-of-attack defenders in the league, when healthy. That's the core. That's what we're working with. Now here's the reality. It's not bad, but it's not enough. Let's be honest, Dub Nation. The Warriors, as currently constructed, are not a title favorite. They're not bad. They're dangerous, experienced, and explosive when healthy. But they're also undersized, aging, and inconsistent. They ranked middle of the pack in rebounding, rim protection, and second chance points allowed. The absence of a true big, someone who can control the paint, switch defensively, and finish around the rim, is glaring. And losing Kevon Looney only widened that gap. And if the front office doesn't address it before the deadline, it could become fatal. But there's still a silver lining, because the Warriors aren't trying to rebuild, they're trying to retool. They know their championship core, Steph, Draymond, and Wiggins, can still compete with the right pieces around them. And the young core, Kuminga, Moody, Podziemski, and TJD, isn't just filler. These guys can play. Look at Kuminga in the playoffs after Steph went down. 15.3 points per game, 48.4% from the field, 40% from three, 30 points in Game 5 against Minnesota. That's not just potential, that's production under pressure. And while Kuminga still struggles in a motion-heavy offense, his growth is undeniable. The problem isn't talent, it's timing. And that's where coaching and structure will make or break the season. This is why Steve Kerr's leadership will be more important than ever. The Warriors need a cohesive identity again. Not a team trying to relive the past, but one adapting it. They don't need 2017. They need a new version of themselves, one that blends experience with speed, IQ with athleticism, and chemistry with hunger. So let's bring it to the community. Is this roster enough to compete if everyone stays healthy? Do you believe Steph, Draymond, and Wiggins can lead the charge one more time? And which young player do you believe will make the leap this year? Kuminga, Moody, Podziemski, or TJD? Sound off in the comments because we're building this next era together. Here's our final take. The Warriors aren't finished. They're recalibrating. And with smart moves before the deadline, maybe a center, maybe a scorer off the bench, this team can absolutely make a deep playoff run. But the margin for error is gone. Every decision from here on out matters. And for the Warriors, the real season starts not in July, but in February. That's where dynasties show whether they can evolve or fade away. Stay tuned, subscribe, and turn on notifications because the next few months will define the future of the franchise. This was Warriors Nation News. We'll see you in the comments.